Hello everybody, Megazard here, back at it again to give y'all another very exciting video. Well, scratch that. This might not necessarily be the most exciting news out there though, but apparently Square Enix came out in a statement saying yes, a lot of their games that have been greenlit that are midway in production right now, they're just scrapping a whole bunch of games. We don't know how many it is or what the significant effect of it is though, but we do have a numerical number to go down with this though, because apparently this is going to cost them, and it's going to be a loss about approximately $140.8 million right there. Now, how many games is this going to affect? What is this going to affect for the future and everything else in between? That's what we're going to be talking about within today's video right here though. So if you hadn't already done so, make sure you go and hit that like button, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this video. So yes, Square Enix came out with a statement saying yes, it's going to cost them about 22.1 billion yen, which is approximately $140.8 million for them. That's going to be essentially a loss for them to go through and scrap a whole bunch of their games that are mid-production that have already been greenlit. Now, the only tricky thing about this thing is we don't know exactly how many games this is going to affect. And for a lot of these games, we probably won't learn anything about it unless it's some distant point in the future, if they happen to be like a Giga Leak or something like that for Square Enix though. But a lot of these games that have been greenlit are probably games that are just internally in the works at Square Enix that had not even been announced to the public though. Because remember, if within this one statement they managed to say right here though, if for some reason they were going to go through and cancel a game that they have already announced to the public, such as like, let's just say for example Dragon Quest 12, they're just going to come out with a statement saying that that was canceled. Not saying that that is going to happen, because that's one I'm pretty sure they're going to be relying on though. But let's go ahead and see the statement that Square Enix managed to say and see it word by word what they said in their little update. So according to the official English version of the statement that they made right here on this date I'm recording on, they state, Square Enix Holding Company Ltd. expects to recognize extraordinary losses pertaining to the abandonment losses associated with its content production account on its books for the fiscal year ended March 2024 as detailed below. The nature of the extraordinary losses. At the meeting convened on March 27, 2024, the board of directors of Square Enix Holdings Company Ltd. Yada 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 voted, in light of the myriad changes underway in the environment surrounding its group, to revise the group's approach to the development of high-definition HD games, with the intention of being more selected and focused in the allocation of development resources. As a result of a close examination of the group's development pipeline undertaken in keeping with its revised approach, the company expects to recognize approximately 22.1 billion yen, which we already said it was about $140.8 million, in content abandonment losses on its books for the fiscal year ended March 2024. So the outlook. The company is carefully reviewing its consolidated forecast for the fiscal year ended March 2024 to assess the potential for impact from the above or other factors. Should revisions to its forecast prove necessary, the company will promptly disclose the same. So what does all of that mean in a nutshell? Essentially, there's a whole bunch of greenlit games that Square Enix was working on that are midway in production that, as I said before, aren't likely going to see the light of day. Now, thankfully, for a lot of us, that's not really going to hurt us in terms of like what we probably already known, what was already announced, and affecting things that could be coming out in the future that is already public knowledge. In an earlier video I happened to make, within this year, about a couple of months ago, I went through and said, hey, everything Square Enix that's major that I really liked and I was personally looking forward to, or what a lot of fans could be looking forward to, I managed to make an update video on that and saying, hey, this is everything we can expect from the time of that release of that video out 2024 and beyond. And I'll go ahead and drop the card up there in the corner so that way you can go ahead and check that out whenever you want to, as soon as you're done with this video though. However, since that video has came out, we had releases such as Phone Stars, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, as well as from Final Fantasy 16 DLC. So Final Fantasy, for the most part, has been kind of wrapped up for the most part, though. So in terms of games that we already know that are, I would say, big enough that it has a public knowledge of us already knowing that it's already out there, that it's going to be coming out on a future date. There's four big games I would say in particular that kind of comes to mind. We'll start from smallest, work our way up to the biggest. One of them is being Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D. Then we have Visions of Mana that's supposed to come out some point in the summertime. At least with Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D, no release date yet on that one though. Visions of Mana, we know it's going to be coming out sometime the summer months. Then the two big marquee AAA titles are known as Dragon Quest 12, which we don't know when that's going to come out, along with Kingdom Hearts 4. I think with each one of these four games, I think they're safe, at least for the time being. Because had one of them been canceled within this one report right here, we would have heard something from it. At least from the time I'm recording this video right now, we should have heard about something though. But I think all four of these titles are going to be safe. Now, anything else beyond that, things could be, left up to discretion. Like we don't know exactly what might actually happen. And unfortunately, a lot of this is behind closed doors to Square Enix, where we're not going to see or know about a lot of these different titles though. However, the thing that really hurts is they had to do this as a calculated risk in terms of seeing, well, out of all these projects we got greenlit right now, how many of these realistically are going to make us a lot of money? Because it doesn't help when you had games that came out already, such as Foam Stars, for example, though. Have we heard any updates on that, sales numbers, anything like that? It already went to PlayStation Plus on day one right there. So a lot of people were able to get that game without having to pay anything. It's obviously like a live service game, has a ton of microtransactions though, but I have not heard any updates on that game. And a lot of people have been saying, hey, that game might shut down within like after a year and a half or something like that, maybe 2 years at tops though. And then you have reports over here like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, where it's like, hey, that game is a freaking phenomenal game. I loved it, played the heck out of it. I love every aspect of that game though. However, in comparing to the sales of Final Fantasy VII Remake, the game that came out before this, it's actually not doing the same in terms of sales wise, in terms of those numbers. If you were to compare it with the same month and days, how long the game has been out on market, it's not doing as well. And it kind of hurts because you're splitting the game up into 3 different parts. So if you put off people that went and tried Final Fantasy VII Remake, they don't like it, they're not going to give a chance for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And even for that part 3, that, the stacks are going to get even lower because of the fact that, the barrier of entry, and if they just don't happen to like what Square Enix is doing with that one game. It's not just a simple remake where it's just play one game, that's it. It's 3 parts though. So when you add all of this stuff up, between some of the failures that they managed to have, don't even get me started on Final Fantasy 16, really great game right there though, but I know that game didn't sell any great numbers though. However, the sales for that game in particular actually managed to do better than Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So I don't know, that's a whole nother pill to swallow though. I ain't gonna give y'all all the stats and stuff right there though, just enough to kind of understand the basic plot premise for all of this stuff. But when you start adding all of these things up, from the successes that they can have on some really great stuff from time to time, and then you hit these low points like this, it's like, it doesn't help that all these companies want to make a lot of AAA games. However, the cost for it, we all seen those leaked results and stuff from the PlayStation leaks and stuff from like Monolith Soft, and seeing the crazy budgets for these AAA games. If the budgets keep going up and not enough people manage to buy those games and support it, at least on day one, where you can get the maximum amount of profits up on it though, I mean, it's only a matter of time where a single game flops and you're gonna wind up shutting down gaming studios that happen to make these games though. It doesn't take a lot of, math and putting 2 and 2 together to figure out, hey, something ain't gonna add up. So this is a calculated risk that Square Enix happens to be doing right here. Now, unfortunately, what does this mean in terms of games that we might not necessarily see a lot more of? Afraid to say it though, but this might affect the whole HD 2D series. I love myself some Octopath Traveler, Octopath Traveler 2, even games like Live Alive. I love the heck out of that game right there. And then we know that at some point we're supposed to have that Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D game though. I love games such as those, but if for some reason, if they're doing the math and saying, hey, this is gonna cost us X amount of dollars, can we get a profit that's worth Y amount of dollars? And if it's not enough of a profit where it's going to be worth our time, we're not even going to invest in that. That's where I think the AA games are going to come more so into play. Well, not even just companies like Square Enix though, but just companies overall in general though, because I feel like you can have a much lower cost and somehow manage to turn out a much higher profit, given if you're messing with the right IP, whether it be new or old or remake or remaster or whatever though. Those are a lot of things to consider and factor, at least within this one report. And looking at the Square Enix information, that seeing leaked stuff from PlayStation stuff, yes, we were going to see all of this stuff add up. It even goes in to show that, yeah, that might be some of the reasons why we've seen a lot of layoffs and stuff from a bunch of different companies and stuff. All of these different calculated risks, though, because there's only so many different people out there in the world that actually play games, and competition is nearly stacked for it, for all these different games that try to get all your attention, from the live service games to the giant AAA games and stuff like that. There's only so many hours also in time in the course of a day. Like, you might have the money to go out and buy all these games though, but do you have the time to be invested in all these different ecosystems? So yeah, I think when you add all this stuff up, it is a bit unfortunate to hear this news from Square Enix though. But keep in mind, this Square Enix report isn't necessarily going to be the first, and it's definitely not going to be the last right here, because I'm pretty sure whether we manage to see these reports from the consumer side or they all happen behind closed doors, I'm pretty sure a lot of companies right now, even Capcom, even your big three, Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony, they're all going to be looking at this and be like, they did it. We're already kind of doing some things as well though. So yeah, this is a huge pill to swallow right there though. But y'all gotta let me know down in the comment section down below, what do you think about this, in terms of the upcoming news? Once again, I don't think this is gonna affect anything that we already know, at least from the time of this recording the video though. So Dragon Quest 12, Kingdom Hearts 4, y'all communities, y'all safe for now, at least for now. Y'all should be good. Y'all should get your games though. But for anything else, for any other people out there that love Square Enix titles, that love how experimental they can be, or with some of their long-lasting, legacy and stuff like that, you never know what Square Enix is going to put out now, because now they're really watching those numbers and seeing what is going to be worth their time and what could potentially give them some profits, though. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section down below what all of you think about this though. But that's going to basically do it in terms of today's video though. So if you really like this, make sure you're going to hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So remember y'all, until our video I make next, see y'all.